Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Pullze Check podcast. It's been a minute. I ain't gonna lie. It's been a minute since we've done a podcast, but we are back now. We dabbled a little bit into the Warzone competitive scene, and for that reason, we weren't doing as much podcasts, and we were doing scrims and stuff like that. But we are back, boys. How are we feeling today, man? The podcast is back. It's a good day, man.
It's a great day, baby. It's a good day to be back, baby. We're back, baby. Let's get it.
All right, man. So today, as always, man, let's go over the guest on the pod today. As always, we got my man JGOD here, Mr. JGOD. We got Mr. Ebatez looking very handsome, and then my boy, Mr. Ryda, which I know
tallest of the four. The tallest of the four.
I know you guys have met Ryda before. I know, or he's been on the podcast once before. But listen, man, we had him on the podcast one time, and I dead ass loved him on it. And so I want to try to get Ryda in here, as much as he allows us to. Ryda, talk to us, man. How you feeling today, brother?
I'm good, man. We got shit on. Another Falcons victory to seal the deal. Shout out my boys getting the pod on early. Shout out my guys. I'm trolling. But hey, I'm happy to be here, man. Thanks for letting me on, boys. It's good to see everybody. Ebatez, you're glowing. JGOD, you look good, and Hector, you're looking tall. So
it's the camera angle, man. It's the camera angle, bro. Chat's literally making fun of me saying I'm on a booster seat right now. They're on my ass. But anyways, guys, there's a lot to discuss today, so let's get into it, man. Okay, there's kind of Black Ops 6 for the summer to kind of pretty much tell you guys what's going on today. We're gonna be going over Black Ops 6 leaks, everything that has to do with that, and then on top of that, some World Series of Warzone stuff, right? So let's get into the Black Ops 6 leaks, man. Boys, what have you guys seen? I know it's gonna be very hard for these two in the middle, man, with because I know they played the game like back in fucking like 7 months ago, whatever the case may be. So just be careful, man. But from the Black Ops 6, I guess, Ryda, I'll talk to you about it, man. What have you seen so far?
I'll be honest, man. I got sent like tweets like, hey, like look at this, look at this, look at this, look at this. And I saw Lucky tweeted something like it's getting out of hand. And I'm not trying to be like a Debbie Downer, but like it really did. It got a little out of hand. Like there was too much shit leaked. So I watched it, but then there was like guys on Kick like streaming it, and then people streaming it, and I'm like, I genuinely not a glazer. I feel bad for the devs. I really do. One of my homies used to work at Activision. I was talking to him about it, and he's like, bro, I really do feel bad for the devs because that's their job. They put a lot of time and effort into it. It sucks to see, for real. But it was dope. The game looks dope, but it sucks to see, for real.
Yeah, I mean, look, man, I agree with you. I think there's like a certain balance. Oh shit, whoops. There you go. Sorry. I think there's like a certain balance in per se of like leaks and everything else, right? I think right now it's one of those things where, they leaked so much shit that the hype might not even be there next week.
That's same thing I said. Same thing I said.
Like it's kind of, of course I feel for the devs, but more importantly, like I feel for all of us who have, like we are so excited. Everybody gets to play it next week, right? Jacob, what you laughing at?
I'm just laughing because no. I just think that like it's good that the leaks could have came out and they could have been bad, right? But almost universally they're pretty hyped in general. Like obviously we've seen some movement where it's like, oh, can you do this? And some dude does some crazy shit with the movement.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I can only imagine that. And there's a bunch of stuff that people haven't seen that, obviously based off the leaks, if you weren't paying attention to all of them, you might have missed some things. But there's some pretty cool tech with that movement stuff that I think will be great. Based off the leaks, will be integrated into Warzone, right? So
yeah. I mean, look, I think that's the good thing is I was talking about this earlier with streaming. We we're talking about the games in general, right? I feel like Warzone 1, I guess my opinion, right? Maybe not everybody agrees to this. Warzone 1, that first year, great. Modern Warfare 2019, I thought it was a good year. Cold War, I thought it was a great year, my favorite year. Then Caldera came out, my personal opinion, sucked. Down year for me. And then Warzone 2 came out. The deepest depths of the underworld was that. Like that was horrible. That's a down year. And I feel like this year, it's not a bad year, but I don't think it's a great year either. I think it's like, I could say good. It's like I don't want to say mid because mid almost seems bad, but like it was a solid year. But I don't know. What do you guys think so far about this year and everything kind of approaching for next year?
I honestly think this year's been really good. I don't know. I feel like obviously with them bringing Rebirth Island back, and I feel like movement in general has back. The dolphin dive is good too with the addition of like the movement that we have now. So I think everything in general, as far as this year, has been a huge step forward in my opinion. I think like I love this year. I'm still enjoying the game, honestly. Like I'm hopping on. Obviously, we took a decent break for watch parties and stuff, but I'm hopping on every day playing Rebirth, and I love it because I feel like it feels new to me at least. So I think in general this year has been amazing. And I think it's a huge step in the right direction, especially if Black Ops 6, from what we've seen, if it's looking as good as it looks, you know, then we're gonna be chilling. So.
All right. What about you, Ryda? Which kind of opinion this year?
I agree with Ethan. Resurgence players, we up this year. Big year for us. I mean, I'm having the most fun I've had in COD in a long time. I can't lie. I tell Chad every day, I'm addicted to this shit. I play 10 hours sometimes. If they fix the hackers in ranked, I'm telling you right now, I can play all day. Literally all day. I love it.
That's what you do, right? Like you play ranked like most of the time?
Yeah, so like a daily schedule, I'll play ranked for like 8 to 10 hours, and then
that's crazy.
Or we'll play scrims.
That's insane.
Ranked,
That's insane.
Ranked, scrims, and then this. Shit's fun, man. It really is. Now you get hacked on all day, it gets old. But if we even go to the extent of making like hacker classes. You know what I mean? Like shock sticks, like bouncing betties, and hiding top prison. So it's dope, man. I love this shit. I love this shit. So to answer your question, I think we are going in the correct direction,
right?
And in the right direction.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, JGOD, you said kind of.
Well, I mean, I covered kind of this. I think the cheater thing, regardless if it's a huge problem or it's just more of depending on what bracket of skill level you're in, it's more of an issue because of the way the matchmaking works. Typically, the cheater is going to be in the top end bracket. So maybe for the players as a whole, they're not experiencing quite as much, except for vocal minority. We still have a shadow ban issue, which has kind of been nothing that's been like talked about all year by them. I think the weapon balancing is probably the worst we've had in all the Warzone years. Okay. But the game as a whole is pretty good other than that.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, look, I guess going into next year, right? Let's talk about Black Ops 6 leaks because there's a lot I feel like to discuss. And I guess I'll go one by one with the things that I can recall off the top of my head. I mean, to be fair, everything fucking leaked, right? Like literally, I'm not trolling. I watched a stream of a guy play the whole entire game, just shooting bots the entire time. I think let's talk first and foremost of what I feel like most of the community kind of cares about is movement. And I know JGOD and Ethan, I don't know what you guys can say, but I'm just gonna go based off of what it looked like, right? I can't ask. Okay, Ryda, how did the movement look like?
And
chat.
I don't know, man. The movement looks dope. It looks wicked. I can't lie. It looks like there's a lot going on, though. Like a lot. And if that's a good thing, I don't know. If it's a bad thing, I don't know. But it looks fun. I'll say that. It looks really fun.
Okay. Look, I guess before you guys go, because I do want to hear y'all's opinion, I think my biggest concern, it looks insane, right? Like omnidirectional movement. Like I've seen the diving left to right while also aiming down sight and shooting while in dive position.
That was wicked. I saw that same video. That was crazy. That was crazy.
It's literally insane if you think about it. My only concern, and I've been saying this since before like anybody played it, none of that, is delays. What type of delays are there to after you dive? What type of delays are there to after you slide? What type of delays are there to running? What type of delays are there? Like, if there is delays, they will single-handedly ruin their movement system. Technically speaking, this should be the most advanced movement COD we've had since jetpacks. And even then, this shit might even be crazier than jetpacks with the shit that you can do. But if they add delays to a bunch of shit and it just feels clunky, that's where things start to get a little rough. And again, we haven't played it. I mean, me and Ryda haven't. You two have. But like, it's like I'm concerned. Not concerned. I'm excited for COD Next to kind of play the game. But before I get into that, JGOD, Mr. Ebatez, talk to me, man.
So I think for that,
JGOD,
some of the gameplay, there's not even optimizations on loadouts. There isn't perk setups that they're just trying to get some B-roll out there, basically. So we don't even know how to play. They're not playing against regularly good players. I know there was a portion up there where there were servers up where people could queue in and get into lobbies with other people, which is kind of crazy. But at the end of the day, we'll know more at COD Next and the beta. you'll immediately know the feedback people have. Even though there's a lot of people that you think have seen this footage, there's people that are oblivious to it. They haven't seen a second of BO6. So COD Next will be the marketing tool that it is. Hopefully we enjoy it. I'm pretty sure I will. And we'll kind of see what other people's perceptions are, because community is pretty big. And when they invite 200 or so people to these events, there's a varying skill levels, what people are looking for, how zombies will play out, people's first look at Warzone. It'll all be pretty interesting.
Okay. All right. What about you, Mr. Ebatez?
I think from like the leaks that we saw, even it was on like a PS4 build, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So I feel like it didn't look as good as it nearly could. And I have a feeling like even with like Warzone 2, for example, like the ground snaking, you know, when you go prone, if you double tap your X, you like jump up really fast. Yeah. Like there's certain mechanics, I feel like, and Shotzi's somebody who figures this stuff out like the week of or 2 weeks in, that will make movement even crazier. So I feel like, yeah, the movement from what we've seen looks pretty good. And I feel like it's only going to get better. And obviously, like you said, if there's no delays or anything, or if there are delays, maybe, you know, they fix them or who knows. So I guess we kind of just have to wait and see, especially next week will be great to see. But yeah, I think in general, it looks good from what we've seen so far, especially the PS4 build. I could imagine that it feels and looks even better on PC. So
one thing I'll add is when we first got to play Modern Warfare 2019, which everyone swears has the best movement, when we got to play the alpha and that gunfight, everyone said the movement felt clunky and felt like bad during that window. But then by the time it evolved and everyone figured out, okay, here's how slide canceling works, here's how some of the mechanics work, then all of a sudden it's glorified as one of the best movement CODs. But this could be the same thing where it comes off and people are like, it feels a little bit slow. And then people figure shit out. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, damn, this is insane. Yeah. Even more than you had expected. So I think there's a lot of those variables that get worked out. Like the same thing that Ebatez is talking about with like if Shotzi or whoever else out there is experimenting in the customs or whatever.
Yeah. Look, again, it's one of those things where I just hope they don't do what they did last year. And even the year before that, right? The first year of the beta, I believe we did have bunny hopping. And then I think the second week of the beta or when the game came out, they took off bunny hopping in Warzone 2. And then last year, they had no delays. Oh, they had delays to auto attack sprint when the beta 1 weekend dropped. Then they got like an insane amount of hate on it on Twitter, and they reverted it. Week 2, beta weekend 2, they reverted it and they took off pretty much. It was like no delay to auto attack sprint. It felt great, and then people loved it. And then immediately when the game came out, it was back to the clunky movement and their delay. And we still have that clunky movement right now, right? People probably got used to it, and it is what it is. We'll all get used to it. But the auto attack sprint from beta weekend 2 of last year was insane as far as it is now. It's way less now. So I don't know. I'm very I feel like this over the years you kind of learn not to. I don't want to be a pessimist either, but like bro, you gotta wait till the game comes out,
bro.
Yeah, I mean it's great. It's Treyarch. It's Treyarch. Treyarch doesn't miss. But they give us something in the beta just to take it away. That's already happened 2 years in a row. So I am scared that this year it's gonna come out and things are gonna change. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Speaking of bunny hopping, I know we were told earlier this year that there was something that they were considering on even adding and trying out at least, and we never got to see that the entire year, unless it's happening next season or something, which I doubt it. But
you just leaked. Damn.
We were told.
No, that was the call. That was in the call.
No,
with
it was a call.
That was the podcast.
That was
because what they had said
Hector
was
did.
they couldn't figure out how to figure out the velocity issues or something. Where if like somebody jumped off of a high place, they could bounce like at ridiculous speeds. It was something along those lines, if I remember. When you were on with the
we
devs.
were supposed to get at least some kind of testing, which has been cool. We got auto or unlimited attack sprint testing, which has been great. It would have been cool to see the bunny hop because, dude, I saw a clip of Aiden bunny hopping Warzone 1 and I was like, oh my God, that looks insane. And I could imagine with omnidirectional movement, when you could sprint left to right, being able to bunny hop while sprinting or something would be insane. Like, dude, like there's so much opportunity there, I feel like. So
you probably wouldn't even need to do the tack sprint and then turn 90 degrees to.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
you could literally just sprint
go
into a bunny hop. That would be nuts. Like, are you kidding me?
Bro,
I don't know.
So
one thing I will say though is I personally expect the movement to be received positively as a whole, and I think there's more implications of what that means for the franchise going forward because they can't go backwards. Like if people like this, There's no way the next COD coming out will not have this or some version of this, and the next COD can't either, because people are going to be like, hell no, I'm not going to go backwards. There's no way.
So that's a question. Do you see? Do you think that there's a chance that we go backwards? And I'm not even talking about, because we know we're getting Treyarch games for 2 years, right? This year,
Based
the next
off
year.
leaks.
Based off
Yes.
leaks. But the year after that, guys, we go back to IW, and I mean,
Wasn't
Ryda.
there a leak that they're not happy with the direction the game's going?
That's what came out a couple days ago.
Again,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
we can't like, it's hearsay, right? But that is something that we can talk about, that supposedly the IW devs don't like Omni movement. So do you think that's something that could eventually we go backwards? I mean, we did it with jetpacks.
I don't think so.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, because I remember going from jetpacks. We had 2 years, well, quote unquote, two titles of jetpacks. And my second year of jetpacks, like, we're playing, we're like, fuck this, man. I'm ready to go back to boots on the ground. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now we're back here. So, like, I don't know. Maybe we could. I don't know. I'm like JGOD. No way we go backwards. No way. What?
Hey man, chat, clip it. It's
Never
in
say
2
never.
years.
MW2 ain't
Warzone-
happening again, bro. But the fall
Warzone
off
2
has to be studied on that game, bro.
Do you think they know that Warzone 2 was a complete failure?
Well,
Do
of
you
course
think-
they do. There's
Okay.
no way the retention numbers are way better. At least what they've shown and what we've been tracking from what we can see on Steam charts, the retention has been way better year over year with this game. It started with less players and it's maintained more active players on a regular basis. Obviously, they've done all these other things to modify stats, like having events every week, new aftermarket parts, blah, 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 seasonal
Rebirth-
updates,
Rebirth
whatever,
and stuff like that
Rebirth.
helps, too.
Like a lot of these, there's variables that have helped. But as a whole, the retention seems like it's way higher.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I mean, hey, look,
But
man.
who knows?
I just hope we never get a year of Warzone 2 ever again.
Yeah.
Again.
I mean, well, so the marketing team or whoever like killed it for Warzone 2 or Modern Warfare 2 because that was the highest selling game ever, right?
yes,
And then
yes.
obviously what JGOD's saying, if the retention wasn't great, I mean, they look at that as like, okay, IW marketing killed it, but the game itself sucked. You know what I mean?
Well, 'cause
Like, surely.
You think? Okay. What do you think they care more about? Do you think they care more about sales, or do you think they care more about microtransactions?
I think microtransactions
Microtransactions.
easily.
Really?
Those are the diehard fans that'll keep bringing you money.
Did you see the?
And you know everyone's gonna buy the game yearly.
Did you
Yeah.
see Reloaded this today and every other Reloaded and every other season?
No.
There's like $200 worth of cosmetics in there. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
And how many actual significant updates?
Hey, the operators and stuff, they've been killing it. I can't lie. I've been living in the
Killing it.
I've been living in the
I
COD
agree.
store lately. I can't.
That
lie.
answers your question right there, man.
I've been living in
I
the
gotta
COD
like hide
store.
my screen to buy a bundle because I get trolled for buying so much shit.
Lucky Shamu, yo, Lucky Shamu's YouTube is going to the moon
No,
right now. He
dude.
loves the bundles.
I mean, hey, look, bro. Sadly, you know, I if that's the case, then yeah, they care about retention, right? So kind of going into the next leaks that we saw, these are a couple ones, and these are not confirmed. These are not like actually shown. More of just like quote unquote leakers leaking this shit. But there's a couple things I want to talk about. First of all, no backpacks next year in Warzone. Thoughts on that?
W.
It's
good.
If that's true, W.
It's good.
Now, do you think in any way that people would want backpacks back or a different version of backpacks? Or do you think the OG way is the way to go?
I think the OG way is the way to go, personally.
I think we could I think people would want like an in between, like an extended version of inventory where it's like maybe you could hold two utilities. So like if you need to hold like a recon and a muni box, you could have two. But like the stacking of like streaks and stuff and like in your backpack is corny.
Yeah,
like
I
there
agree
should
with
be a
that.
set limit to certain things. Like kill streaks, you should only be able to hold one. And then like maybe like two utilities, so like munis, and then I think ammo should just be default. Like you could hold as much ammo as you want. And then plates,
Right.
you could do like
Like 2 field
8
upgrades,
or
1
whatever.
kill streak, 1 set of lethals, 1 set of tacticals, and then plates.
I
it's
think
dope.
a lot of people focus specifically like on the backpack, but like they already mentioned, there's certain problems that the backpack added. But I think one of the biggest issues with the backpack that was added was that it slows down the game. The fact that you can go walk over loot and be gone like we could in Warzone 1, unless you had a satchel, maybe you pick up a satchel, maybe you pick up munitions if you didn't have one, obviously one-offs, but like literally just be able to, the gunfight's over, I walk over the dead body and I move on to the next gunfight.
Yeah, if your
There
character
is
can
no
auto
amount
pick
of
up like anything
inventory
that you're missing,
management that solves that. On top of that, the whole gas nonsense that we have, or not gas, but the smokes, it's absurd.
Yeah.
Every
So-
Enzane, 17 smokes to just rotate. That's silly. Obviously, they
in
do need to
Warzone
account
1,
for it. Yeah.
In Warzone 1, did we have, the issue now where you'll walk over loot and it won't auto pick up plates?
Oh,
Was that
yeah,
a thing
yeah.
in Warzone 1 or no?
Uh,
Or did that
I don't
come
feel
with
like
the
it was
backpack?
as much of an issue.
I don't
Okay,
I don't
it's
think
gonna
so.
be a backpack thing then.
yeah, I
You
wonder.
have like 2 plates and you'll walk over 15 plates and it won't pick them up. And then sometimes you got to manually grab them. Sometimes they just auto pick up, which that was supposed to be addressed.
yeah, I think it might be a
Yeah.
backpack thing.
I wondered, like, is there a world where we're gonna have to wait and see right next year if that actually is true, and if that's true, I actually love no backpacks. But I wonder what there was another world where they thought maybe, hey, what if we did a combination of like you can't double your equipment, like you can't have two of the same things.
Sick.
Then there's no smoke spams, right? You can only have one, like lethals, tacticals, all that stuff is all one.
What all those restrictions end up being, I want to hold plates.
Yeah,
Yeah, so then what happened?
true,
Then what happened?
true.
What if there was a perk for like extra lethals and stuff, like we had in like back in the old CODs, like we
So-
could have extra.
Maybe you sacrifice something as a trade-off. Yeah.
Let's get
What
into
was
the
that
next
called?
leak. That's part of the next leak. That
Oh,
was
sick.
another leak that wild cards from Black Ops 6 will be integrated into Warzone. Now, this, if it's true, I genuinely think this will change the way we all play Warzone. And I'll tell you why, not just because of that, but think about it from a loadout perspective, right? So let's talk about some of the wild cards that we know. One of them, yeah, there's extra lethals, extra tacticals. That's cool and all. I think that'll be cool. But I think where it's going to make the biggest difference is, bro, where you can stack 6 perks, right? You get like extra however
Bruh.
many perks for that. So imagine, and then there's another one that lets you get 8
Well, I think
attachments.
perk greed, which is in the base game, that one only allows you to equip an extra perk.
Extra, so it's one more?
I don't know how it works in Warzone.
So 4 perks
but
total.
It would imagine it works the same.
Okay.
But the other part that we have, maybe you were going to get to is that with the wild cards is also how you get overkill.
Yes.
So,
Which I hope Warzone, hopefully Overkill is standard again, because I
Standard.
kind of like that.
Yeah. I think where things are going to get crazy is guns with 8 attachments. Like,
Yeah, that's gonna be nuts.
that's a wild card where you can put 8 attachments. So if these are coming to Warzone, I generally think it's like, hey, grab your first loadout, you grab your perks in your regular class, and then the second loadout, maybe you grab a gun with 8 attachments, right? Like, those are different things that might change up the game. So I mean, I hope that leak was true, but I think that'd be cool. What do you think, Ryda?
Yeah, I think that would be dope. That I was sitting here like pondering, thinking that reminds me back to Warzone 1 because overkill wasn't default. And me personally, I thought it was kind of cool. But that made me think about in Warzone 1, if you would get bought back late game, you would land on loadout. And you guys probably remember this. You would grab your AR class, but you would grab it with the fully loaded perk attachment. So you had ammo when you hit loadout. That's what made me think about that. And like, I mean,
there's
I
a
just
lot of
think, like, these-
dynamics though. I don't think overkill should be free, even though like it feels like an Ebatez said, hey, I prefer that. I think what happens is when you make overkill free, essentially you never have to make choices with your loadout because you get
I
both.
agree with that. I agree with
And
that.
on top of that, secondaries become useless. Obviously, people can
Yeah.
go with launchers or whatever. But right now, if you were to pick a pistol right now, Hector, what would you pick? You wouldn't.
Like, no.
Yeah, you
That's
know
why
what
I
I mean?
like multiplayer.
Yeah.
In multiplayer like CDL, you see people use their secondary. I think it's dope.
Yep. So I think there is a balance there where it kind of forces you, but they've evolved the game a little bit where you could just go to the buy station, buy your second gun, right?
Yeah,
If they're
that
still
as well.
keeping that feature.
Yeah, that's true.
So
Right.
reality, you could still go the non-overkill route, and you just got to make sure you get your secondary, primary, whatever option you want to hold the other gun, like we used to back in Warzone 1, where you have to buy 2 loadouts, but now you just buy the second gun.
Yeah, I mean, I think wild cards in general would change the game if it's true, right? Like,
Yep.
Is that going to make the game feel different? I think, I don't know, this year to next year is going to feel drastically different, and in a good way, in my opinion, right? I don't know. We haven't played it. All we have is to wait and see. And so one of the final leaks that I think is almost but confirmed. And what I want Ebatez, I want you to let me know what your opinion is. And the reason why I say it's almost confirmed is because we saw it in multiplayer leaks. So I'm assuming it's coming to Warzone. But the ability to hold down a button to stow both your weapons and run with a knife, right? And I'll tell you why
that's
this
confirmed for multiplayer.
confirmed for multiplayer. I'm assuming it's going to come for Warzone, and I hope it does, because I wonder how many plays you can make by like, oh, you're running away, but you switch to your knife and you're running as fast as you can and you're maneuvering your movements, crazier movements faster. And then that also brings in like cosmetics into the game as well. Like you can, I'm pretty sure they're going to have a knife, cosmetics, crazy shit that we can run with.
Like, what do they call those? Heirlooms?
Yeah.
Heirlooms,
in
they'll
Apex.
have to call it something else.
Please
but
put those in the game. I'm trying to spend my fucking money. Please.
So I think this doubles as a solve for a lot of issues at once, because what will end up happening is normally if you wanted unlimited sprint speed right now, you need to get the stupid boots. But what happens is technically in this particular case, if you did pull out your knife, maybe the perk is unlimited attack sprint. So then you don't need a slide cancel. You just move faster around the map when you're out in the open. And then if you need to hopefully do some kind of slide cancel, you would use it smartly within a gunfight with your gun. But then you're not worried about running out of attack sprint in the middle of a gunfight, you know? So, and then people will min-max it, figure out where the strengths and weaknesses are, and then go based off of that. I think it's a W.
It should be cool. I'm hoping they're not like broken, because like right now, if you equip a throwing knife and you like stab somebody, it's like 2 hits or something, right? And it's like super fast.
Yeah.
Hopefully the melee is a little bit slower, because if you're running around with those trying to get around the map quicker and somebody just runs in front of your face and you could just knife them really quick, that would be like super busted. But I would assume they're
100%.
coming to Warzone, because that feels like something they just took from Apex. Honestly, like not maybe necessarily took. Obviously, it's been in other games, but if you could run around faster and it's good for rotations and stuff, that'd be sick. I think they should for sure. It'd be dope too if people would grind like camos for their knives and stuff.
See, that could be cool. I think there's a couple different things. Like, I don't think they're going to go that route, Ebatez, in my opinion. I think the route that they're going to go is cosmetically. I think there's going to be knives in the store constantly.
Yeah.
And low key.
Like maybe like Valorant.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
I think there's going to be some crazy.
It can be bad.
they're
And
going
what's
to make
cool
a lot of
about
money.
that too is it's going to be that what you're talking about combined with camo combinations.
That will be sick.
Right?
Yes.
Like you'll be able to equip camos, obviously.
They need to bring the cases back from Black Ops 3. Oh my!
No,
I would
they're not
spend so
gonna do
much
that,
money.
bro.
They're
They're not going to do that. They're
Oh,
illegal in a lot of countries because they're gambling.
Yes, I know, but I would literally spend my rent money on that every single month.
That's the problem.
Yep.
If they
That's
bring
why
those
people
back,
don't-
bring back creator codes too. Bring back creator codes.
Yeah, if they do that, hey.
I agree. Bring that shit back, man. Okay. All right, man. So those are kind of the leaks that we know so far. There are some guns and stuff that we know. Honestly, I don't want to dwell too much in the Black Ops 6 leaks. I think we all find out next week how it's all going to play out. Everybody in the stream, it's kind of crazy to say this out loud, but like, bro, everybody's going to get to play Black Ops 6 next weekend. That's kind of insane. So we'll all get to see for ourselves how the movement feels, how everything feels. But I think take it with a grain of salt, because you never know what they're going to do, right? I think that's just the way it is. Now, I guess the next topic to kind of discuss is how Black Ops 6 is going to integrate into Warzone, right? And we know, is it confirmed? Is it leaked? I'm not too sure. Like, Verdon's
I think
coming.
Charlie Intel like quoted it as being integrated.
So, no, in the sense of like Urzik, we're keeping Urzikstan for a while.
That was the leak, is that we're keeping Urzikstan
yes.
until like early 2025 or something.
Okay. So it's not confirmed yet, but I feel like it's one of those things where it's all but confirmed. For those of y'all watching at home, for those of y'all that don't know, more than likely we'll be playing Urzikstan until Verdansk drops. And the rumor for Verdansk dropping is March, sometime in March 10th. That's what we assume, because that's the 4-year anniversary or whatever. So that means from now, we don't get a new map this year. Yes, we do, but it's not
I think it's
until like
5-year anniversary
5. Damn.
because it came out 2020. So
Wow. 125.
Wow.
you feel old yet? No.
Wow. 5 years, man. And so, I mean, look, the game comes out October 25th, right? Then more than likely a month and a half to a month after that is when the integration happens. Normally it's what, a month when the integration happens?
Yeah, usually they do
December.
season 1, but each year they've pushed it back a little bit sooner because I think they want to be able to get shit done before they go on holiday.
On the break.
Which that was smart this past year. They did it. The year
it was
before
because
with
this year was better
Caldera,
than
that
last
was
year.
Yeah.
Yes.
They
And
were
I think
awful.
Last year was really bad. It was really bad.
I think this year's going to be even better, because if we now get a game a month earlier, that means we have a month, 2 to 3 weeks or whatever the case, or whatever it is from last year, that I think it's going to integrate sooner. So, and my guess is the game is going to integrate in November, which means they have all of November, all of December to tweak things before they go on holiday. Now, again, what is y'all's thoughts on that specifically? Like, we're going to be on Urzikstan, this map, not my favorite map in my opinion, for the next until March. How long is March from now?
Yeah, it's quite
It's a while. But most of us are already playing Resurgence, so that doesn't matter.
I mean, I think they've done decent things with Urzikstan. I don't think it's enough. They obviously added Superstore, which I think has been good. The portable balloons, which has been okay. There's just some areas of the map that still suck, like some of the Shannon, like all the water over there's. Some of the farms is bad. Top right of the map's pretty bad. Like, there's just some parts of the map that suck. But in general, the flow of Urzikstan has gotten a lot better over there. It's kind of like Caldera, like not as good as Caldera, like progression, but it's not horrible. So hopefully, maybe if we're gonna keep Urzikstan for 6 months or whatever it is, October or November through March, 4 or 5 months, there needs to be some pretty significant updates. And hopefully with Black Ops 6, they add some things and then maybe change up the map, kind of how they did with Verdansk, where there was like a giant meteor that crashed near like stadium or something.
Yeah.
There needs to be like some kind of crazy. I mean, they haven't done anything with Top City all year. It's still in construction. It's been in construction all year. So maybe there's something there like Nakatomi, or there needs to be something. So hopefully if they're going to keep Urzikstan, they need to add some stuff. But
well, the rumor was that they were supposed to do ranked, right? At that point.
Yeah. The rumor is season 1 is ranked. That's the rumor right now.
Which would be cool for those people that like ranked.
Yeah,
and
ranked
big
big map, which is not a bad thing. I think what's going to be great is the game will feel completely different in November, December, because we have Omni movement, right? We have hopefully no backpacks. We have like all these different things. So sorry, right? I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. Like what JGOD said, in a perfect world for me, we get ranked after, the new game and the new implementation of Warzone. If we get ranked, I don't play Urzikstan like that. I just started playing it competitively. So I would be happy with ranked and then Verdansk. But, the guys I see grinding the big map all the time, I mean, I know they're going to be tight about it. I know they're not happy about it. I mean, I don't know. The map does, in my opinion, the map does suck. It does suck. But
Yeah. Look, man, again, I don't know how that's going to turn out. I don't know what the play is when season 1 launches and all that, but I do think it's going to be a little bit of a refresh. But if it's true that we're not actually getting a new map till March, bro, that's a lot. I don't know how. Right? I would assume they got to drop some type of Resurgence map. They have to. There's no way. That's the only way I think they're going to keep everybody happy if they do that. In my opinion, if they are planning on dropping a Resurgence map, this might be a faded fucking take. But in my opinion, drop ranked on that new map. And wait for Verdansk to drop ranked on big map. That's what I would do.
So
That's
you're
what
saying like do it like Fortune's Keep, right?
Yeah, so like if there's a new map coming, I would say
that's leaked too. That's leaked too. That got leaked back in June.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, like I think because what's gonna happen when Verdansk comes out?
Well, not that it's gonna be on ranked, but that there's gonna be a new Resurgence map. That's what's been linked. And the name that's leaked in the tweet from June, I don't know if it's a code name or internal name, but it was I think called Area 99 or something like that. That's in the leak. From June.
Okay. So like here's where I'm in my head of why I'm saying that, right? Is like I know with the way that these guys are when it comes to ranked, bro, I genuinely feel and how they were like, bro, nobody asked for Resurgence ranked. Everybody hates that shit. Like except for Ryda, right?
I don't know, bro. I'm gonna call that one out. You guys were gassing the shit out of that when you guys went to early access.
Hey, that shit was fire.
I can't lie.
First season was gas.
Hey, please,
Joel jumped on one time, and then now he's back on it on console.
Joel and Lucky played it
once.
One day.
Bro.
No, don't put me in that.
That shit was fired.
I've said from day one that shit Resurgence
Fortune's Keep was
dog
gas.
shit.
Fortune's Keep was
I remember
gas.
the first time I heard about it, I was like, that makes zero sense. But yeah,
Fortune's Keep ranked was the best ranked as far as it's better than Rebirth. Rebirth ranked is dog shit.
I agree
it's
with
horrible.
that. I agree with that.
Fortune's Keep actually felt like it had
Vondo rank would have gone hard.
it could have been
Vondo rank
interesting.
would have been
I think
top.
Vondo would have been
It would have been top.
interesting.
Yeah. So look, again, my fear is that if they give Big Map ranked right now, right? is there a chance that when Verdansk drops, they go back to Resurgence ranked? Or
No.
is there any chance in hell?
No.
Because I am traumatized from the decisions that they've made. Right? Like,
No.
do
We're
you
gonna do
think that?
Kazakhstan ranked when the game drops, and that'll hold everybody over until Verdansk ranked.
Hopefully they do it a little different this time, where maybe we get World Series of Warzone a week before instead of a week before. People got to compete. Maybe it'll get announced like in March, with ranked and say, hey,
Yeah, if
grind
there's
this shit out
anything that
on
I
this
hope we have.
in-game mode we've been developing for 2 years, and hopefully it'll be something that's sick like that. But that's just,
Please
Yeah.
announce
Believe,
World Series
Hector.
earlier. Please.
you gotta say
please,
these
please.
things just like your dedicated
man.
melee. You willed it into existence,
True,
right?
true. Yo, we did. Yo, somebody's got to get that. Yo, me and JGOD talked about the melee shit back in like Warzone 2. Like, hey, somebody's got to get the clip, man. I know somebody can get it, bro. We talked about shit a long time ago. But yeah, I mean, look, bro, I would hope that with the launch of Verdansk, they got to just go crazy. They got to. Yeah, so I don't know. That's kind of it from what I've seen for the leagues. Like, let's real quick go dabble into next, boys. Everybody here going? Right?
Yeah.
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 How excited are we for next? I would assume we're not gonna play Warzone at next, because if we're not getting a new map, we're not gonna play Warzone. I would assume. Why y'all looking like that? Hold on, Chad. They know something, Chad. They know something.
I'm playing whatever they put in front of me. I'm playing.
Hey, that's my next invite. Oh, you guys can see. I got invited to COD next. There it is, man.
There it is.
There it is.
Zombies will be lit.
Dude, zombies,
zombies.
multiplayer zombies.
Zombies about to be fire.
Yo,
Zombies
Round
about
Base,
to be
we're back.
fire.
Round base is back.
Hey. You motherfuckers, bro.
Round base
Hey,
is back.
regardless. Okay, boys, talk to me. How y'all feel about next week?
I'm
I
excited.
think it's gonna be elite. Yeah.
I'm excited. I was fortunate enough to I was like the day of I got invited, so I was super grateful for that. But I feel happy that like this year I have time to like plan and everything and like get everything structured. So that's super nice. But last year, man, like my experience was insane. That event is always incredible, and the production and everything, like dude, just the hotel, like everything, like the hospitality was nuts. So I'm excited for that event, and also like the room that we got to stream in last year was insane, and we're going to DC this year. I'm sure it's gonna be insane. So yeah, Ebatez is sweating. I'm profusely sweating right now.
I've never seen anybody more scared of Shanice than you, bro. Ever
Well,
in
you
my
know
life.
what's cool is I've gone to enough events where like the ones that are smaller are always cool, but it always feels so damn quick when you go to like some of the like the
Yes,
turnaround
bro.
trips where it's like when we went to Raven and we got to check out ranked early, it was like we were there and that was a good trip, and it was a smaller group, but it was like we were in and then out, and it was like holy. But with next, because of all the technical stuff they got to make sure they get right, you get in there earlier than most of the time, and you're able to like just hang out with creators a lot more than you would otherwise, right?
Yeah.
Like you actually get to chill, like, okay, cool, we don't gotta do anything till tomorrow, what do you guys want to do? Oh cool, we'll hit up this food spot, or we'll go to this thing, or we'll go visit this. And there's a lot more time before we get into the, hey, you got to set up your stream for these 3 hours, or you got to stream for this amount of time. There's a lot of collaboration, not collaboration, but mingling, I guess, of creators, which
Right.
you don't normally get to do. Maybe you interact with them on Twitter or whatever, or you met them at TwitchCon, but here it's like you get to hang out and everyone's
Right.
at the same hotels or whatever.
Honestly, I've told Shanice this, I've told everybody this. Like, I've been very vocal. I think next might be my favorite trip out of any like event, and for the sole purpose of like the excitement of what could be next year, right? I think that's a great thing about COD is we get something new every single year, and at the same token, it could be shit. COD Next could be exactly like Warzone 2 was, and I have nightmares of COD Next Warzone 2. Where they ask us, is it good? Is it good? And we're like,
All of us were so like, it
we're-
was so sad. That
and
year
we're
was
like-
so sad, bro.
bro, I'm not kidding, bro. It was like, bro, that vlog, we were like, it was very, but then, last year I thought was a great COD Next. That one, like, the feeling in the room was like, everybody was so excited. Everybody felt so like oh, okay, like we're finally out of the dark era, right? So, I mean, I think that excitement of what it's gonna be like this year, I'm pretty.
Plus, I think last year they did raise the bar on the content creator side in terms of the stuff they gave out and the venues and like those things. It felt like the lobby thing that was sick.
Yeah, that was sick. That was so dope.
The little pre-briefing that we had that was a little bit more long than I think we had the previous time. Yeah, I mean there was a bunch of things that were set up I think based off feedback, and I'm guessing this year will probably even be better based off feedback. So
yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think Ebatez knows a lot because he's real quiet. And Ebatez is never quiet. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, I don't know.
I'm just saying. I'm just gonna say an observation, chat.
Bro, hey, Connex is great every year, man. I'm excited to play whatever we're playing, bro. It's gonna be sick.
Whatever we're playing, bro. Yo, Ryda, talk to
Zombies,
me, man.
multiplayer,
People have been asking me all week, man. I'm really excited. I can't lie, but I'll be honest. I'm kind of there's gonna be a lot going on, and like on update days, I kind of get overwhelmed because I try to push content out to so many places. So I don't know if any of you guys get like that, but I get a little overwhelmed. So I'm a little overwhelmed. But other than that, man, I'm really excited. Like to be able to, meet some of you guys and, some of the creators I've looked up to my entire career at Champs, and then be able to do that with more people at Next, and then play COD early. Dude, like I'm grateful as hell. Like
This is your first one, right?
Seriously. Yeah, it's my first one. Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
man.
like low key, I'm kind of tweaking. Like I can't lie. We'll get it.
Trust me, bro. You're gonna love it. Genuinely, my opinion, my favorite event. I think it's so cool. Everybody from around the world comes in. It's just people who fucking love COD. And so, hey, again, if the game is like Modern Warfare 3, we're all up together. And if the game's like Warzone 2, we're all down fucking horrendous in the lobby together as well, man. You know what I'm saying? But okay, so yeah, that's next week, man. I'm really excited for that. Should be really, really dope. And then immediately after that, guys, is World Series of Warzone. So let's talk about it. Let's kind of shift gears from Black Ops 6 and everything like that into the World Series of Warzone. How are we feeling about World Series of Warzone in general? There's so many topics to discuss here. Just overall thoughts. Talk to me, JGOD. How you feeling, bro?
I think the event, it will be cool. I mean, I already booked. Everything's there. I think it'll just be interesting to see how it plays out on LAN, even though we have strong expectation on who's going to win. We have no clue who's going to be second, right? Like, because it could be a lot of different teams. But first place, we're pretty confident where it is unless somebody does something wrong, different, Like, I don't know. I think the game's in a much better spot than maybe it was last year with the sniper stuff and all that. I think we'll have good balance where they actually feel like gunfights and trades, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll get some random update that nerfs the STG the day of.
Well, if I think this week is mid-season update, right? Wednesday?
Yeah.
So if anything's going to change, I believe it'll just be this Wednesday, and that's it. I don't think there will be any big changes because 4 weeks after that is like it's a week after season 6 would be like the Wednesday we come back from World Series.
And I think to piggy onto that, I think the only things that they will update beyond that is just making sure private games work.
Ooh, yes. Yes.
Okay. Or however they're going to do it with the matchmaking to make sure that when people get to LAN, there's no excuses on like, oh, the systems are having issues. They would have already been tested through multiple times.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, what's kind of Ebatez? Talk to me about general thoughts of World Series, and then we'll get into like actual,
I'm excited. I'm excited to be there. I think playing on LAN in general is something that competitors need, and I think there's just excitement behind it. It sucks that unfortunately this year we were fortunate for EWC, but the last LAN was last year in London, so it's exciting for competitors to go play on LAN, and obviously we have like an extremely dominant team, but I'm hoping that competitors kind of lock in. Hopefully we see a closer match. I am kind of worried about the match point threshold. I think that's probably my biggest concern. Obviously, a 2-day event, which is a huge step from last year. But I think first place team going into match point finals day with a 40-point lead and it's only 150 is going to be concerning. So I'm just hoping in general that it's not a quick tournament. But I'm excited. I'm excited to see everybody, players, fans, people. That should be dope. But I don't know. Vegas is going to be good. It sucks that we got such a late announcement. I'm still pretty upset about that. I think the late announcement really killed it for a lot of people that want to. I know I've had people come to my stream saying, hey, I wanted to go, but I couldn't get work in time or work off in time. I thought it was going to be in London, and now me and my wife tried to figure it out. We can't be there. So that's pretty upsetting. I feel like people that, now we got an NA World Series of Warzone, and we don't even get, people that wanted to go and support it, they can't even go because it's just such a late announcement. But yeah, overall, should be sweet. I'm super stoked.
All right, what about you, Mr. Ryda?
Like JGOD said, I'm going. Everything's booked. I'm excited. I think Vegas is a premier spot for it. I really do. I think it's gonna get insane. Seriously. The competition, man, I just don't see anybody beating SSD. I'm sorry, I'm not a Glazer. They're just insane.
He's a Bifty.
I mean, hopefully, hey, if we can get Dongy, if Dongy's our savior, he might be
man.
Dongy and Vonbot, but Vonbot's at home, so we gotta pray for Dongy.
I told Gary, I said if that team gets passion, I don't even know why they don't have passion. We're a month out, but if that team gets passion, they can actually give them a run for their money.
I agree.
You got to start separating them on the leaderboard, bro.
That's easily the best team, or the next best team in my opinion, is Scum and Unrational and Dongy. Easily, I think they've shown the most potential.
But
And
other
the
than that,
ability
I
to
think
close out.
Hector, what's
I'm
so
happy
funny?
it's
Wait,
an NA,
what is? You keep laughing at something.
I'm
What's
laughing
going
at
on?
chat. I'm chatting.
Oh, okay.
Let's see what Chad's saying. Let's check this out.
Go ahead, Ryda.
Yeah, cut
Before
off.
I'm
he
happy
cuts
it's
you
an
off.
NA, man. NA crowd, I think the overall, I mean, I wasn't there last year, but I watched it and it looked wicked last year from home. But being there this year, and I would say like from a player's perspective, like Ethan will be able to know this year, the people that played last year that are going this year will be able to know. I think, just the crowd in general, everything is going to be electric, if you will. I think it just will be overall better. The time frame, has it sucked? Of course. I think everyone can agree with that. But other than that, man, I am so freaking excited. I got people in chat that are excited. I know people that are going. It's going to be dope.
Yeah, bro. Look, to kind of just like World Series of Warzone, I think this year has been the best year for competitive Warzone, and I think no one can really deny that. Like with how many tournaments we've had, how much Activision support we've had, like it's been actually insane. I do think again the announcement stuff. Two things. I think in general, what I think could have been better is the communication. Right, it's communication of where the LAN is. And then two, the communication of when everything's starting, right? So I'm really happy with everything this year. If we look at last year's competitive scene to this year's competitive scene, it's literally night and day. So I think my only concern when World Series of Warzone truly is the match point threshold. And we never really got to talk about this in depth. Maybe did a little bit in the last podcast. But what is y'all's honest take about the 110 or 150 threshold, but the winning team or from day one gets 50 points or 40 points for day two? Now, my hot take, not a hot take, but my take is day one, I think it's perfect. I think even the points, not perfect, but maybe it could have been like 50, then 45, 40, 35. I just go like that, depending on the first day, but it's a little bit more spread out. But even then, I don't mind the whole 40 points. My biggest concern is the 150 point threshold. That's what needs to be changed. I don't think anything's wrong with day one. If they just change the threshold from 150 to 200, we are guaranteed at least 8 games.
I think it a little differently. I think Apex, one of their safeguards, allowed for it to be a minimum of certain number of matches. Even if a team came out the gate hot, it didn't matter. So I think that's one of the things that they should have also taken in addition to the Warzone version, is that they should have made it so that on that day there's a minimum of 5 games or something like that. And then if you happen to win that 5th game and you were a match point, it doesn't matter because you have to have completed at least 5 matches. So I think that's how they do it in Apex, or at least they used to. I don't know if maybe somebody in the chat knows or one of you guys know for sure, but it's like one of those things where it's like it could end in 3.
Yeah, that's the concern.
This rate's going to be too
literally.
short. Like,
you know
what I mean?
But that's only because of one team could fuck it up and close it out in 3. You know?
Yeah, you're right,
yeah, I think
so
in
that's
general,
the problem. Like they're the outlier, but it is what it is. It exists.
I think in general, I think we should be okay. It's just the thing that scares me is that the fact that there's even a possibility of them ending it in 4, that should not be a thing. It shouldn't be, hey, it's unlikely. I do think it's unlikely they'll end it in 4 because I do still think like at the end of the day, we're putting the best of the best on LAN. Everyone's gonna be playing a lot slower. Some people are gonna be playing scared. I'm sure people are going to be bringing out prox mines because they're, nervous. Like, there's just, so the pace of play is going to be a lot slower, so kills are going to come a lot harder. But the fact that it is possible for them to end it in 4 is a huge concern. I feel like that shouldn't even be a thing. Like, we shouldn't even have to think, I hope this doesn't end in 4. Like, now everyone's praying, like you should be able to just enjoy the event instead of having to sit there and worry, oh God, it's going to end soon. Like that.
And they close it out too quick.
Right.
Just
That
got my
sucks. It
popcorn,
shouldn't
like, fuck,
even be in the question that you could end the tournament in 4 games. It shouldn't even be possible. It should be impossible. It should be a minimum of 6 games. So I think if they, I agree with Hector. If they bumped it to like even 180, I think it gives us a little bit, maybe even extra game, at least extra game or 2.
I don't think they'll obviously change anything because the rules are already kind of set.
No, yeah, I don't think they will. But
and it's just more for feedback for next year.
Yeah, I think that way
it's always next year. It's always next year. Like,
Hey,
we're
we didn't have this last year, and then it became a better thing than we got 2-day event.
Yeah.
We're getting a venue for a whole day. We're doing production. Everything's already set up. Everybody's already there. All the players already traveled. Why not just extend it a couple more hours? We are already putting in all these resources. Why not just do it a couple more hours so that the overall idea of World Series of Warzone on LAN was a success, rather than saying, oh, it ended too early this year. We all have already committed all of these resources. Why not just do 2 more hours? I don't know. That's my take.
I agree. I said this before in the last one. I think I'd rather it be too long than too short. And if there's ever a point where it could be too short, then that shouldn't be a thing. Change it. Like, even 175 would have been great. Again, I don't know how much we can do now to change it. I don't think there's anything we could do. It does suck because I do feel like, hey, if those guys come out hot, like today, we played a scrim. It was 150 points, but everybody starts at 0. If they come out day 1 and they win, they're going to start at 40. I know it's different. Like, people play different line. They won in 5 games. That wasn't even with DS, right? Like, they closed it out in 5. So, like, technically, the tournament could end in 4. I don't think 3.
Yeah,
I think
they
3 is
played
very
with
unlikely.
someone that didn't even qualify. No, I'm just kidding. They should be there. They should 100% been there. I don't know what the fuck happened, bro.
The next thing was going to be talking about rosters. I mean, we could start with that one if you guys want, man. Fanatics, the fuck happened?
Yeah, they fucking suck. Skullface, I'm sorry, my boy. What the fuck, dude?
Yeah, I know.
the fuck?
It's kind of like crazy because that team was so good and on paper and even in other tournaments, as soon as qual day happened, it was a wrap. I don't know.
I want to address something real quick because people keep saying they got hacked on, all this stuff. Like, again, yes, we know they got hacked on, but that's not not going to be their bailout. If you guys were paying attention from the start of World Series of Warzone, they were playing like shit all leading up until LCQs. Yep. They shouldn't even have been at LCQ.
Yeah, all they needed is top 15 on the previous, right? Top 12.
Top 12. Yeah, like you could have played better then, and you wouldn't even be in that situation. And like, they were playing bad literally the entire month, 2 months leading up until LCQ. Like they just sucked. Like, they didn't play good, and I don't understand why, because that team is fucking good. If there was any team that was gonna get better on LAN and have the potential to beat Falcons, it was gonna be the Fnatic, bro. Like,
I mean,
them not making is almost the best thing for, at least on paper.
Yeah.
For SSD.
I mean, Noobs got 3rd at LAN last year, and then Skull got 2nd, and then Skull also won the solo YOLO. Like, those guys are confident. So, I mean, and I would have no doubt that even the extra couple months they could have prepared, but
100%.
It is what it is.
Yeah. Shit, man.
But,
Ryda,
hey, yeah, go ahead, Ryda.
Just Ryda, what you think about just in general, man, the teams right now, everything? Obviously, I know you didn't qual, but which we'll talk about that right now, which I actually think I feel like you might be coming
Ryda might be the next team up. Yeah,
I feel like Ryda is actually going to play. That's just me. But no, I know it's probably not the best way to think, just in case if it doesn't happen. But Ryda, talk to me what you feel like and just in general the teams right now and how they're practicing, how they're playing in general.
Man, I'll be honest. From as much like competitive Warzone as we got this year, there's so many teams that are in World Series that just aren't even playing. Like, they're not playing every day. They're just not competing. There was a time where we couldn't fill scrims. We're asking on the timeline, hey, does anybody want to come play scrims? It's just bizarre to think about. I don't know, man. The rosters, like I said, there's one team I think they could like compete with SSD. I don't think it's going to happen. But going back to Fnatic, I love those guys. It's insane to see that they didn't qual, but I don't know. Something is like just not meshing with that roster, in my opinion. Every time like we fight them or we see them fight, they just do something. I'm like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? I don't know. And those three as individuals are incredible. They're insane players. No glaze at all. You know, they went to LAN and they played well. They played really well at EWC. So to see them not make it, I agree, is upsetting. But for someone like me that finished right behind the Hackers to qual, I don't know, man. I don't know. I hope I get to play. If not, I'm still gonna go and enjoy it. You know. So.
I think some teams no troll, and bro, like I'm not kidding, man. I had a competitor tell me, and I'm being very honest here. And again, I don't mean to spread any hate. I'm not gonna say who it was, but these are the words that came out of their mouth, and I was incredibly disappointed because if this is the way the majority of people think, I'm so disappointed. Like they literally told me, I don't play scrims because what's the point? We're just gonna go get shit on, lose to SSD, and then come back. Like I had somebody actually tell me that.
No, that's ridiculous. Yeah, that is actually ridiculous.
I could see that though. I could see that. I genuinely could see people saying that. I'm not kidding,
dude. Whoever
well,
that
I
is,
could say it's even
my
plausible
God.
to a certain extent, though. What I would say is sometimes the frequency, maybe it was too high. So, like, let's say, hey, we're going to do at least once a week. We're not going to do 4 a week. And then those other 3 days, we make sure that we're working on specific elements. This is theoretical on paper, but that's probably not what's happening, right? What I'm saying is that, like, they could get burnt out and feel like maybe they didn't even get enough time to build a new strat or experiment, look at footage. But in between, they could have maybe if they took certain days off. But I don't think this is the case. I'm just a hypothetical where this could work for some teams. Just maybe not the team you're talking about. I
don't know. That mentality in me, I will, no matter what, no matter how you paint it, no matter how you look at it, I will never, ever understand that mentality of why insane. Even do it? Why put in the work if I'm just going to fail in the end? That to me, that I will never have that mentality ever in life. And that is insane.
That's actually crazy. That is actually crazy.
Oh, again,
I mean,
it's
not
hope that
likely
people don't play like that.
It's not likely anyone's going to beat SSD, but it's possible.
It can happen. It can happen.
If there's any tournament that SSD will lose, it's a match point tournament. Because I hate to say it's not the quote unquote the most competitive format. It's the most entertaining as a viewer. But at the end of the day, if they hit match point, you got to win the game. And it's probably not easy to win 100%. A game on LAN with some of the best players in the lobby. It's possible. Like they could just get like bunker busted or something, like something random, like Warzone. We've talked about it. Like there's random things that happen. Like SSD could just get unlucky, and then a team that capitalizes on that, they could be having a day, and they could win it. Like if there's any tournament SSD is going to lose, it's a match point tournament. It's not likely they're going to lose, but if there's going to be a tournament they're going to lose, it's a match point tournament. That's the only tournament format I see them possibly losing.
I agree.
Because if it's a best of 6, they're never losing. They're never losing a best of 6.
Yeah, I agree 1,000%. And again, it's LAN. Like these guys. I'll say this, bro. Like these guys Falcons is good because they work way harder than the second place team. Than every other fucking team. They are good not because of their raw skill, not because of the not because of they had these guys are better than me. No, like they have grinded to get to where they're at, bro. And 100%. I see it firsthand, bro. When they lose, when they win a tournament and they don't close it in 5, bro, when they win and they don't close it in 5 or 6, they're on the phone call screaming at each other, talking about why they didn't end it earlier, what they did wrong. Bro, people are genuinely playing scrims happy if they get top 10 and they go out and we're good, bro. We're like, dude, as simple as that. Like they work harder than you. That's just it.
100%.
And if you don't, you disagree, I'm sorry you're not watching it, but like yesterday or the Samir Nasri tournament, they won. And the entire 6 games, they won it in 7. The entire 7 games, they were arguing about how they could have played better while they were winning ahead of everybody, right? Like it's one of those things where like if you never work hard, and how do you expect to reap the rewards, right? Like, I don't understand it, man. So I hope that we have 1 month left, literally 4 weeks left into World Series of Warzone. I would pray and hope that these guys want to play in as much shit as possible, even if they're not playing in scrims, they're VOD reviewing and get as much practice in to get ready for World Series. Because if you think that, I'm just gonna go out to World Series and hopefully do good,
right?
You're already lost. Like, you know what I'm saying?
People if you're showing up to LAN not understanding,
top 20.
Like, if you're showing up to LAN not knowing how you're gonna do, like that's a huge concern. Like you said, Hector, I don't know. Whenever I was competing, I was dedicating so much time off stream watching VODs and everything. And you're right. There's so many players that don't do that. They literally don't
Yeah,
do
but
that.
like to
I heard
quote on that, when people don't match your passion in that aspect, it gets tiring. And I know you know like what I mean, like Ethan, like, and they're like someone. This is a crazy thought, but back to Warzone 2, I was talking to someone who was a very good competitor, somebody that won money. Actually, it was Sage, and I don't mean to out him like this, but I asked him about something like who he was playing with, and at the time it wasn't his set roster. This was before their rosters were set for World Series, and he told me, I hate to look in the pregame lobby and my teammate have the lowest level in the lobby. And like I agree, like with the things you're saying, Ethan. When people don't match your passion and there's other people that aren't doing the same thing you're doing, it's just, it gets old, man. It does. Like if y'all three don't want to be there and don't want to win, it fucking sucks, man. It does.
Yeah.
I mean, there's players there's players that are taking vacation right now. Like, I'm not even trolling. They're literally taking vacation.
There's a lot of them. A lot of them.
I mean, there's a lot of them, bro.
I mean,
There's a
dude,
lot
I'm
of
thinking
them.
we were talking about Navi. That's a good ass team, and I haven't seen them play at all.
They had to move
And I
back
know
to
it's because
Australia.
they're back in AU. Like I get that,
Yeah.
but it just sucks. Like it just sucks.
Well, those guys, they're actually flying out to Vegas, I think, a few weeks early, and they're boot camping there for a couple weeks. So those guys will
That's
at least
good.
be in Vegas
Good.
under Navi, I
Yep.
think, boot camping. So, and I know NK and them have been doing some boot camp stuff, which is good. Playing on a different setup, not being in your comfort zone, getting reps on a different PC, different headset, everything, different monitors. That's good.
Yep.
So that's good to see. But yeah, I don't know, man. We'll see.
No, like I just
Do we get a buy station change before World Series again?
I don't think so because I think that's at the start of every new season. So
Yeah.
I don't think we do.
Okay.
This is going to be the one
That's
that's
So
crazy.
we shouldn't. Whatever the loadouts are now, or the buy stations are now, should be the same.
Okay. Yeah, look, man, I think with that, it just comes with like, I get it. I understand that some of these guys are content creators and they make a lot of money doing content stuff, and they make more money probably doing that than they do playing in World Series. But here is my thing with that is, yo, if you're not going to give your teammates 100% of your passion, then don't fucking play. Like,
Yep.
if you care more about money and all that stuff, if you're a big content creator, then don't play. Like, don't play. Like, don't ruin it for the rest of your teammates. And like, if you're in it, take it serious and like grind, right? Like, there's a way to balance both, bro. Like, you want to get on, play scrims from 2 to 6, right? And then after, grind your pubs, grind your rank, grind all that stuff after. You can do it. I think that's a lack of work ethic, in my opinion, right? Like, you can do what's 1 month of grinding to try to improve your chances when you have literally October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, 8 months of just pure content. Like, if you are concerned more about money and you're this content creators that are making a lot of money, bro, don't play World Series. Sit out and don't let your teammates down. That's the way I see it, man. Like,
End of the day, too, these creators, man, this kind of stuff. Like, if you're a creator, and obviously creating content that's gold. You know, if you're playing Warzone or whatever, you need to be creating content. But at the end of the day, it's like, to be a good creator, you gotta like also. This is a chance to back it up. All those people that comment VPN, you suck, you can't bot lobby. Like, dude, if you go to LAN and you do good in the best lobby, that creates your credibility goes to the moon. If you're a creator, your credibility goes to the moon. I was looking at IQ, like one of his like pinned TikToks is him winning like a big tourney because like people comment all the time,
Right.
bot lobby, and then his pinned TikTok is him winning like a big tournament or like a Twitch Rivals or whatever. It's like that, like it gives you that credibility. Anybody that has anything to say, you can back it up with. Like I think Joe got like 6 last year on LAN. He's like, I got 6 at LAN last year. Like, what are you going to say about it? And he's told his chat that all year. People are like, oh, you're only good at home, whatever. So I think it's a huge opportunity for a lot of creators to create credibility. And it's frustrating. I mean, this is obviously my first year sitting out, like seeing people qualified for LAN and they're just, vacation. SSD's already going to win. It doesn't matter. I'm just going for the trip. Like, dude, that pisses me off. I'll be honest, that pisses me off.
I don't know, man. Again, I'm hoping, and again, like, bro, I'm you know what? I'm gonna fucking. I've talked about it a little bit, but I'll say it, bro. I'm actively working on a ranked system for competitors and a true ranked system. Let's call it a ladder, right? Can't call it a league, right? But if I could call it a league, I would call it a league.
Like the pros had, even
Yes.
relative, right?
I'm in the process of doing it, but there should never be a point where I am scared to full send this because I'm scared that people would not have passion. Like, I'm talking like, bro, I'm talking player cards. I'm talking stats and analytics for every single ranked session, every single what's it called? Like leaderboard. Like this league is something that I literally in the process of making right now, but I'm so scared of doing it because I'm investing thousands and thousands in this because I'm scared that people won't play it. And it's free, and it's free. Like it's free. So like that, I don't know. Like the passion for people.
I will say that it has kind of evolved, right? Like there was a point where like there are some orgs that are supporting certain teams, but there was a time where that wasn't even really thought of, even though there was time where like 100 Thieves did something and a couple other orgs, but they weren't like legitimate, like, oh, this is the team that we have. Maybe you have a player or something. But I think it's dominoed a little bit where it's grown, because last year it was even worse where you couldn't even fill a scrim with like 20 people, let alone. Like I thought it was way worse last year.
No, it was.
It was. It definitely was.
It was way worse. So it's just an evolution. I think with something like this, hopefully the event does really well. I expect it to, especially on the heels, following COD Next, with more hype around the game. Everyone excited to compete on LAN again. And the time slot's probably a little bit better than it was last year for NA. So I think there's a lot of dominoes that'll line up where maybe next year could be like even further. So as long as it's not going backwards, I think it's doing good. Perspective, I think, is important in that, because last year it was bad. Like you could not even feel a scrim for any. Like you just couldn't do it.
None. Yeah. No, I'll say this. Like I don't want to discredit that it's definitely better. But like I feel like we're fighting for the bare minimum. Like at least in my eyes.
Right.
Like how you're right. It is better than last year to this year, but I feel like the bare minimum, if you're a World Series of Warzone team, you want to play scrims at least twice a week. You show up, you submit scores, like you don't leave halfway through the tournament. That is the bare minimum, bro.
Yeah, literally. Just some dignity, bro.
That was nonsense yesterday, right?
Oh, JGOD.
After like 3 maps, right?
There's multiple teams that did that. JGOD, like again, these competitive players always talk about how like, bro, I can't wait. Hopefully one day we get a league. Hopefully, yeah, but you act like you don't act like you want a league.
Yep.
Like you don't have the accountability. You don't have the responsibility. You don't treat it with passion, but then you want this, right? Like I'm telling you right now, like I'm actively working on something to do during the off season for everybody to where like, yo, this is like an actual ranked / league. I don't say league, but ladder. Like to where you have stats. I'm number one because I'm the best, and you have analytics to prove it. And I hope to add literally not just pro players, everybody in this chat, anybody watching this video, if you want to play, you'll get assigned to ranked and you work your way up. That is the goal, right? But how do you expect people, anybody, not even me, companies to want to pay for that if they see the lack of professionalism in the stream, in the season, in like the...
I agree.
Scene,
I mean, we've talked about it too. Like, dude, players need to be like the bare minimum, bro. Like you said, I think the problem is I agree, is that people are like, oh, we're not on salary like other or other games and stuff. And I get it. Like, there's no org funding. We're not on, there's no salaries. There is no league. But if you really wanted this shit, you would do it when there's really nothing. It's like being a creator. It's like, if you really wanted to be a content creator, you would do it even when there's no return. Like because you love it. You love it. This is what you love to do. And it's like, we've seen so much opportunity. Dude, Warzone Total Frenzy's been cooking 10Ks every week. There's a 10K tomorrow, trios, we have World Series of Warzone on LAN. Like we had EWC. Obviously not everybody got to get involved, but if that doesn't like inspire you as a competitor to be giving this your all, like I don't know what will. Cause like, bro, it's not even that bad right now. It's really not. We have been so blessed as a competitive scene this year has been insane. We have, I don't think we've ever, these are Verdansk numbers. We have 10Ks every week, sometimes twice a week. Dude, sometimes there's Monday, Tuesday. Like it's insane.
Shifty did the math and he said there was like, in 1 week, there was a total of like 150K up for grabs. Something insane. Oh. Like, and it's like, bro, we prayed for times like this. Like, right. We prayed for times like this.
The other difference too is all those tournaments previously were solely based off invites.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was talking to my dad yesterday. Now there at least is some
shakeup.
And he had asked he's like, you staying busy? I'm like, dude, typically right now, and if you guys think back, like right now until the new game release, this is the worst time for a content creator as a Call of Duty player. There's nothing
Yeah.
to do. It's boring. The game's
I
boring.
think that's
Like,
generally
last year
in
at this
gaming
time-
too.
Yeah, in gaming. Last year at this time, after World Series, we were like, what do we do? Like, we didn't know what to do. I told my dad, I said, Dad, this is the busiest I've been as a creator in my entire career. It really is. We've been like, we get comp. Like today we had scrims. Tomorrow we have a 10K.
Scrims after that.
We'll do
you're-
something
and the thing
Wednesday,
is-
and then Friday we got something, I guess. You know what I mean? Like it's just
For everybody in chat,
It's
Ryda's
nonstop.
not even qualified for World Series, and he's playing everything he can because he
That's
cares
insane.
and he wants it. Ryda is, I'm sure Ryda, Pick, and Oak are waiting for that call. Hey, a team dropped out of World
There we
Series.
are.
You guys are ready? And nobody would be more stoked than Ryda because I know he's been playing scrims every single day. Not a single team cares more, in my opinion, which is why I'm like, yo, I think Ryda should get invited 100% if a team can't make it.
The fact that Ryda is playing in scrims, Ryda has played more scrims. No troll. And this is, I can get analytics if you want stats. Ryda has played more scrims than like 90% of World Series of Warzone teams going. And that's at the sole chance that he gets invited due to a team not being able to make it. Like,
Yep.
I don't know. That's one of those things where some people will complain about it. Some people will say, oh, these guys given this opportunity, but I've never gotten it. No, 90% of the people that you say got this opportunity, no, they worked their asses off behind the scenes when nobody was looking, and now they have the opportunity. They were prepared for the opportunity that was presented to them, same way Ryda is, man. That's the way I see it. Like, that's life, bro. Like, 90% of the times, bro, you're going to work your ass off for things and not get paid for it, right? Like, when starting a new company, you work your ass off not knowing what your revenue is going to be. You're probably going to lose revenue, and then hopefully it all works out. That's kind of the way Warzone is right now. It's like, you got to grind to try to be the best. And even if that means you're not making an insane amount of money, there is opportunity to make a lot of money. And like, you know, just give it your all, man. Give it your all. And so I don't know. I mean, Ryda, you're the GOAT when it comes to that shit, man.
I appreciate the gas, boys.
Yeah, bro. I don't know.
Wait, let me wipe my fucking lips real quick. Holy.
Damn.
Speaking of, look, kind of shift gears on that. That was insane, bro. Hey,
That was
Let me
insane.
wipe my lip.
Oh,
Speaking
holy.
on what Ebatez or what we all talked about is everybody's probably, people who don't know probably don't know is, Ryda might actually get a spot in the World Series. And the reason why is because he got 7th, right? But the 6th place team was cheating in LCQ.
And they've already been removed.
Yeah, and they've been removed. So Ryda technically is the next up, I believe. Now, this is only happens if a team is having struggles getting to LAN. So I don't know how this is all going to work. I only know of two teams right now that are having trouble. And one of them is Crim's team. And the other one is Edexin's team. So how this is going to work, I don't know. Let's talk about it. We just found out Crim's got denied his visa for entering for the World Series. And so I did, Showstopper was in the stream earlier and he did say that he will be applying again to get in. So guys, talk to me about this. Obviously we love that it's in NA, but sadly there's always two sides to every coin. Like this is the downside, that there are people that can't come, right? And Crims is good. This team is not bad. It's crazy. This team doesn't scrim at all because they're from the Middle East and the ping is horrible, so they don't really scrim, but they're actually really good for not practicing at all. And they don't get to come. So talk to me, boys. What's y'all's thoughts on all this?
This is incredibly frustrating. I can't lie. Like, I do like that we're doing World Series in NA, but I think it's unfair that if we're gonna do it in NA and teams can't make it, like, what was the point? And I'll kind of yap for a little bit. Like, the whole reason we did the expansion watch parties was to, one, show love to expansion regions, and two, to like just meet new talent. There's so many good players, talented players out there that don't play in NA or EMEA. And the frustrating part for me is that these guys are incredibly talented. And we obviously got to watch them play in the EMEA and they qualified through EMEA. And now that the fact that they're not going and they're a team representing from Saudi Arabia, and we don't even get to see that, like Saudi have representation out at World Series of Warzone, is incredibly frustrating from a viewer standpoint. Especially, because we obviously did the watch parties and stuff. Like, I know how bad these guys want it, and they've been getting some gas and stuff, and they played at EWC, didn't do great. But I do know that they've been a very, very good team, especially big maps. So this is frustrating. And I think that it was a concern that we all had, or even World Series had, leading up into the event. And I don't know. It's frustrating. So hopefully they can figure it out. But yeah, I don't know. It sucks. It definitely sucks.
Oh, JGOD, talk to me.
I mean, obviously those things sucks because you want the best players there, and it should be, if you qualified, it was there. And If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But I mean, it is what it is. Like at the end of the day, it is what it is. This is not somebody's control at it's just the venue, right?
Right.
The venue's in Europe, maybe it's different. And then somebody else has an issue. There's no 100% winning.
I mean, fuck, man. It does suck. I know Show just said it, and it's what I was going to talk about. Their team and everybody is allowed one sub. And I don't think you can drop anybody. It has to be a sub, like for legitimate reasons. And so this team will not get, if I don't know if the other two players have been approved, but I know that if somebody does, let's say Crims cannot get his visa approved, they will get a sub. Now, how does that even work? Like, does a sub have to be from EMEA, or can they get a sub anywhere? Right? Do we know the rules of that by any chance?
I'm sure it's their region, within their region.
Yeah, imagine having a hybrid team.
Yeah, I was gonna say like
what, they just gotta pull up Prospect real quick? You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
that's what I'm saying. Like, would they pick up Vaughn? Would they pick up Praz? Would they pick up Alman, Noobs? You know,
that'd be crazy. Actually, I think
That would be
the
wild.
fairest way to do it is within the region, but I don't know. That's concerning, or not concerning. That's I'm curious about that.
yeah. But again, if there are teams that eventually that do kind of get pushed out, and I think Ryda, I don't know how is that going to work. How do teams get pushed up? Right? Is there another LCQ to decide who goes through? All right. What do you guys think it should be the thing?
Well, I
don't
think
know.
they
does that
already
work?
have a short list.
I think like if that's a if an EMEA team gets like pushed out, then the next team should fill in. But I don't know. Then you get into like with this guy's case, a team that has to get a visa. That is somebody that Call of Duty or Activision is going to rely on to be able to get done by the time World Series is here. We're running out of time. You know what I mean? Unfortunately for this guy, like they didn't have much of a time frame from the beginning. And these players that are traveling from, places outside the United States that have to get visas, if you get your visa back and you get, denied like this guy did, and they're like, well, fuck, we got to get a sub, and they get a sub, and then this person has to get a visa. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't know what the most fair way to do it is. I really don't. Because like, say you get denied and you find out 2 weeks before you can't go. Well, there's just no way that another team from outside the United States can go. You know what I mean? Right?
Right.
There's just not not ample enough time. So like, do you go to an A team? I don't know. I don't know what the most fair way is. It sucks, man.
Yeah. 'Cause last year I think they did it by points, if I recall. Yeah, I don't know. Again, only time will tell. I don't know if any team's gonna get out or drop out. If they do, I think Ryda is next in line, or it might be an EMEA team. I don't know how that's all gonna work, but we'll see, man. And kind of just to kind of bring it all together, boys, to kind of wrap up the World Series stuff is talk to me about. I guess let's do a separate from Falcons. What is y'all's top 5 teams right now, man? We can't say Falcons because that's a cop out, right? Like, but top 5 teams right now, or I guess better yet, what teams can you see potentially winning apart from like Falcons? I don't even know how to have this conversation because I feel like there's maybe one team that showed that they are pretty decent. Like, and one thing I will say, not a single team has showed consistency. That's my thing. Sure, at one point, Huskers team was fucking insane. At one point,
they're doing great.
Ome NA, Braxton and them were insane. At one point, fucking NQ and them were insane. Like I all those teams I just named, I don't think they're insane right now. Right? Like Dongi right now, they're considered my number 2 team. But who's to say in a month from now they're not? Panda Volcom, they're looking good. Who's to say in 2 weeks, 3 weeks that they don't become the next best team, the next second place team, right? Like crazy that I'm even saying that second place team. But like, what is y'all's, if you had to give a 5 at least, a list of 5, or even if you want to do 3, what are some top teams that you guys think right now could potentially surprise, not even surprise, but do good at World Series? Like I'm talking top 5, top 3 teams.
Yeah, go ahead.
Anybody
You start
wants to go?
You muted.
I think the Irrational team, that one would be good with Dongi. I don't know. Like you said, they've been super inconsistent on which people show up and which ones don't. And then a lot of the people, the tournaments that have been quote unquote competitive, teams do well that aren't even in the World Series of Warzone. where it's like,
crazy.
what the heck? And I feel like even though they've haven't really been there quite as much, I think Breadman's team, I feel like if you have Breadman on the team, he's still going to have some level of consistency, but not win, but maybe second, third, fourth, fifth in there. I don't know. That's at least 2. I'm trying to think. I don't know. I think it's way too hard.
Okay.
Because like you said, too many teams are just
Inconsistent.
I think right
you know
now-
what? Braxton, right, too?
Yeah, I was gonna say them. It's probably for me. It's Unrational's team, Braxton's team. I think the French are pretty good. I think Stuo, Exian are really good.
Team's good.
And I think King AJ, Showstopper, and Vision. I think those guys have probably the most potential in EU, but they've been terribly inconsistent. Those guys are horribly inconsistent, bro. I don't know what it is because on paper that team is very, very good. But I think they have the most potential out of EU.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, I think Braxton's team's been pretty consistent. I think at least from what I've seen, their placements have been pretty solid. Gary and them obviously have been an outlier. I feel like they're like a tier ahead of a lot of other teams. But I mean, the French are good. I'm just curious to see how they do on LAN. I think the expectations are super high for them, which I don't know why. I think the entire region is putting a lot on their shoulders for no reason. Like there's too much pressure for them for no reason. Like I don't know why there's all this expectation for them to do, like go out there and get top 3. Like I think they're a great team, but there's crazy expectations for that team. I think they are a top, like they could get top 3, but I don't know why they're like expected to get top 3. Like if that makes sense. Like they are like, if they don't get top 3, it's a bust. That's how I feel with that team as far as expectations. But I think they're probably the 4th or 5th best team. Obviously, we got Soka in them, but I think Gabe and them too have been solid. I think Gabe flanked in Blast. I wouldn't be surprised to see them do well.
Inconsistent as fuck, but
yeah,
right.
I think
That's the crazy
hard
part
thing.
is so many
You
people
can't
could
guess.
show up on the day of.
Yeah.
You can't guess a top 5. You can't. You really can't.
What about you, Ryda?
Dongi, clear favorite. Dongi, Inkyo. I was a big Inkyo guy, man. I don't know.
Kid's good.
I
He's
still
good.
think that team is really good. I just don't know if that team is SSD good, unfortunately. Dongi's team, Inkyo's team, Brax. I think that team is insanely good. Couple more kills and but I've watched the watch parties with you, Hector, and you said like they're inconsistent, and they are. Like that team is really good, and some days they play so well, and then other days it's just like, what are they? Like,
Blast
what
in the chat.
But this one's a wild card, but you can't count out Juki's, FIFA, and Lennon. On LAN, you can't. Juki's is the GOAT. That's my guy. He's a shooter. I'm telling you right now, that team is going to be good on LAN. SSD good?
Yep.
I don't know. Top 5 good? Book it.
I really like Echo Oki and Prodigy too, man.
That's
Those
a good
guys-
team too.
those
That
guys
team's scary.
They can be good. They can be good. Now I feel like they might shut down a little bit. I think 1 or 2 bad games they shut down, but that team could also be very good.
It just sucks, right? Like because there's no number 2 team right now. Like I'll say it again. The number 2 team always changes. Like we could have said Enkyo before. We could have said Oma NA before. Like right now, it just so happens to be Dongi, Scummin, and Gary. And what's insane is they're not even passionate right now. Those motherfuckers got no passion right now. Like they're not in every scrim. They're not everything.
I think Amir would be in that
yeah.
conversation. I think that team's really good. But I think the recent buy station change to downtown has really, really, really put a wrench in that team's plans. That was a really good team. And now it's just like really inconsistent team because they don't have a buy. And you guys know as well as I do, if you land and you don't have a buy, I mean...
Right, but like that team, that shows that like that team has they've been bad for a couple months, and we've known about this buy stage for a while. They have not adapted at all. They haven't changed their drop
I
spot.
agree
They
with
haven't
that. I
like
agree.
rotated differently. So it's like the fact that they're consistently just still not doing well is like, bro, you guys got to change something. Like you can't just wait for the buy stations to come back.
agree.
That team
I
specifically,
agree with what you're saying.
they lack in the kill department. We've broken that team down a lot. They're very consistent when getting to end game, but they just struggle to get kills. Now, where that is the problem, I don't know if that's beginning game, middle game, end game. I don't know. But that team is definitely their biggest struggle is getting kills. And so, I don't know, man. I think they'll do good. Here's the thing with me. If I had to pick 3 teams apart from Falcons, Dongi and them, again, I texted Gary on the side. I said, fucker, if y'all just lock it in, you guys can make World Series of Warzone very interesting. But I have not seen y'all in anything. Like, and he's like, no, I promise we're going to get in scrims when I get back from this wedding. I'm like, all right, let me see it, because that team is good. And they're not even practicing, or not even getting reps. They barely play, right?
Yeah, but I see like Dongy playing all the time, and then
with other people.
Gummy's always playing, and then Gary's always playing, but like I don't know, like
3 different times.
Yeah, like I don't understand.
I think that team's gonna be fine. I think that team will be fine.
That team's insane. That team is good.
I just think you can't show up. You can't show up and just expect to be good without any reps. Like, you know, I hope this month changes and they lock it in for the sake of the entire Warzone scene. Like, if there's any team, in my opinion, that could beat Falcons, it's going to be them. It's going to be them.
I'll say this. I think that team cares a lot more than what they'll ever show. They will act like they don't care, but that team I think cares a lot.
I agree with that.
I think they're off stream. I think they're actually off stream, like working on stuff. I like they're probably not just like, whatever. Like, especially I think Scummin or Gary didn't go to LAN last year. I'm sure they care a lot. I think those guys are going to show up and do fine, honestly.
Okay. Well, look, man. And then I'm gonna throw a wild card. Not even a wild card. I think their trajectory has been very, very good lately, and that's Panda's team. But I want to throw in a little quick like side note. They've been doing really good the last 2 to 3 weeks, and that's that Aiden has not been playing. His team has not been playing anything in the last 2 to 3 weeks, and that team lands where Panda lands. So as of right now, Panda has been having a free rotation, a free beginning game, and hasn't really gotten contested that much, but they've been playing very, very well. Again, nobody's really been playing consistent. Some teams do good, some teams do bad. So like, and it's always up in the air. I don't know. Like that's kind of, for me, those are the only teams that I can say right now. I don't even think Omen and NA, they're too inconsistent. Enkyo and them, inconsistent. I think maybe they took too much time off and now they're slowly starting to get it because they did good in the E1. They did horrendous today. And so again, inconsistent. I can't even tell you who's the second place team, because even then, if Dongi and them are all in a tournament, it's not guaranteed that team places second in my eyes, right? And we watch everything. So
Sage and them have also had some hiccups too, where they've done.
They started off great. Like, I think Sage, Swag,
because
and
what
Adrian,
they get yesterday or today, like no, they didn't play today, right? Or was it yesterday?
Here I can.
Yeah, they played today.
They were like top 8 or something, right?
I can grab it. You talking about the EU one? No, they haven't been playing good recently.
They got top 8, I think, in that last Pullze Check that went 12 games.
So today they placed. Where are they? 16th today. They placed.
That's not that good.
Or yesterday, sorry, Samir Nasri. They placed 16th in the Samir Nasri. Today, JD hasn't tweeted it out, but what did they place today, chat? In the scrims? Sage.
Swag. Adrian. Because I always feel like that's kind of he says 9th. I don't know. I feel like that's one of those ones where
look,
they have shown in the past. There's a lot of teams that have shown some crazy shit where you watch an end game and you're like, what the hell did Sage just do? How the hell are they still in this game? And it's
There's so many teams that are just like, oh, like they could
do it.
They could do it. Like, I think, bro, this is what I'm saying. I had the conversation with Swag. I had the conversation with Adrian, and it's like, bro, that team specifically, they have all the puzzle pieces to make a good team. They're just not a good team right now. Like, bro, I saw them today absolutely break down in a fight and no comms whatsoever. And I'm just like, bro, what is going on? That team, I think, has gotten worse since they first started. And I think it's due to the lack of passion. And now they can tell you themselves, right? But like, I don't see them playing everything. I don't see them doing everything that they can, right? Are they in the VODs? Like, are they in the VODs? And are they actually, because there's a difference between watching VODs and there's a difference between studying VODs. Like, you can't just watch VODs. You have to actively see what you get in VODs and then try to implement it into your game. And that team, I'm gonna be honest, bro, they have the gunny. Chat can say whatever the fuck they want about Chris.
That team's good.
Swag. I don't care. Chris is good. He is the role player that they need, but they don't fucking communicate. They scam and they scam and they scam. And I'm sorry if that's harsh, but they're my boys. So that's why I'm going so in on them. If they just locked it the fuck in for 1 month, and if they played in every single tournament, if they played in every single scrim, if they look at VODs for 1 month, they can be really fucking good. Chat, Swag made it to World Series of Warzone,
It's
and your
less
favorite
than a
content
month to
creators
go.
didn't, bro. Hey,
It could be a level of comfortability, and yeah, I see a lot of people saying like, well, Swag just does content, bro. Listen, like, I think Swag did like an interview last year. I still remember this. They asked him like, what was his biggest accomplishment all year, and he like, dude, he hit like 3 million on YouTube, like signed a deal with YouTube, had like all these crazy accolades, and he said his number one accomplishment was going to World Series of Warzone. Like, I promise you, that guy cares. He genuinely cares.
Yep.
So I think you're right. I think
people in chat are saying he doesn't play. He plays. He plays the
Bro, he
tournament.
plays-
He plays the scrims.
guys,
he plays the
Chris is,
tournament. He
I'm gonna tell you
plays,
now,
guys.
Chris
You
is
don't
not the
watch.
problem.
He plays.
Chris, Swag is not the problem with that team.
He plays the
Swag
tournament. He
cares.
I
Swag
think I-
gives a fuck.
I think with that team, it's just a level of one comfortability, and I think that two, I don't think there's enough accountability on that team as far as what I've seen. I think, like you said, communication is a huge thing, and I think it's probably just like, I don't know, maybe they just don't care right now. And I think it goes back to the topic we were just talking about. It just seems like not as many teams are as eager. I think eagerness is like a huge thing right now. Nobody's eager to be better and get ready for something that's coming up less than a month. I think everyone thinks we have all this time. Oh, World Series, it's coming down the line. Like, dude, we are less than a month out. If you don't have your shit together right now, you are going to get slammed at LAN. You are simply going to get shit on.
Like, bro,
So-
again, every fucking team should be trying their fucking absolute best to shit on one team. How can you guys sit there and just be, oh, well, everybody in the Apex scene knows that. Everybody in the fucking Call of Duty multiplayer scene knows that Falcons is really good. Like, bro, shit is getting messages from people like, oh, you guys got that, right? From other fucking orgs. And people know from other side games. Like, people know that Falcons are just winning this. Like, how can you guys willingly accept that, right? So, honestly, man, again, I genuinely believe that there are teams out there that can give them a run for their money, but you have to have the passion, man. And passion is one of those things where you can't teach. You can't teach, you know? So, I don't know. My opinion, only one, I guess two teams right now that I'm kind of hopeful for, but again, hey, they could be shit in a week because everybody's been so inconsistent. Is Dongi and Panda's team. Those are my only two. Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, and then just in general, guys, is there any other teams you guys want to talk about before we move on?
I think Aiden, Smith, and DJ. I think they are horrible right now, and
Dude, that was
obviously-
a good team at one time. That was a good
Yep.
team.
I
at
don't
one
know.
time.
It was crazy at one time.
I don't know
Dude,
what's
at one
going on.
time, I told chat, I'm like, this team is gonna give SSD a run for their money at LAN.
They
I don't know
sucked
what
when they
happened.
started, and they got really, really good. We were like, damn, they're cooking. And that was even when they were contesting Panda. Like, it was like they were taking 50-50 fights. I can't lie. Panda and them have been smoking those guys off rip. Like, no joke. Those guys, they've been getting the work. And I thought I'd never say about Aiden, DJ, and Smith. That's a great team. So I think those guys need to figure out stuff. I know Smith just got back from vacation. I think Aiden just got back from vacation or something. So hopefully they lock it in. But like, dude, like I said, bro, we're less than a month out. Like, it might be too late, bro. And I hope, like, I'm just being hard with those guys.
Well, especially
same
with
way
next
Hec-
week is going to be off for a lot of people.
The
because
same
of
way Hector's
next-
been hard on Adrian. Like, I'm saying, like, dude, these are my guys. They suck right now. And I've told DJ this. I'm like, bro, you guys suck. You guys fucking suck right now, and you need to lock in. So hopefully those guys get together. I think as far as potential, those guys on paper are really good, but I don't know what's going on with them, man.
That JGOD just brought up a very good point about just teams in general. Like, bro, we have scrims Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday of this week. Or sorry, Sunday. There is no more scrims for another week. We're gonna technically take a week off because of Call of Duty next week, and then the beta.
Yeah, I forgot about
Like,
that.
Right.
I would be very shocked if we don't. It would be crazy if scrims don't fill this week. And I know it's three scrims, but brother, like, they will not get any practice. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, all that. Maybe Friday. I mean, if they want Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we'll do scrims. But there's not going to be any scrims throughout the week because everybody's going to be focused on the beta. Everybody's going to be focused on COD Next. Like,
I don't even know if scrims will fill up at the end of the week because the beta.
Bro, I'm telling you, it's too late, bro. Like, I'm telling you, like, dude, teams think they have so much time. They really don't have time to figure things out. If you're not watching VODs every night, like, you're genuinely going to travel all the way to Vegas just to not make money.
All right, here's the next question.
yeah,
We see these people that land on SSD and scrims. When all the money's on the table, will someone land on SSD? Seriously.
I think so, yes. Because bottom half
Every
teams,
game?
you get $0. No, not
oh
every game.
no.
No.
I think
But if
nobody
you're a
lands
bottom
on
half
them.
I think people will land on them before they hit match point, but it'll only
Someone
be
will
like a game
land
or
on
two.
them game one. Someone will land on them game one. It'll be an EU team. After that, ain't happening. They ain't getting landed on.
Yeah,
I
I think
it could,
bottom
though.
half teams will land on them.
I think the bottom half teams, if they see that, like, maybe they just had a shit day, because Warzone, it can happen where a shit day
You're
happens.
Right. You're right.
But
Hey.
what will happen is they might send to try and chalk their games. But the problem is they're too damn good. Even if you send them, they tend to win those 3-on-3s. And if they don't, they tend to win their gulags. And then if at least one of them wins the gulag, they regain. So
Yeah.
it's
They
like, what
always
the fuck do you do? Like, are you set up to, like, you'd have to have a staggered chalking of their games. And it doesn't,
I think they're gonna have a
it's not
different
gonna
landing spot,
happen,
too.
bro. With no intel, it's not
telling you.
possible.
They're gonna have a different landing spot on land. They're
Yeah.
not gonna practice it. They're not gonna do it in scrims. They're not gonna do anything. But they're gonna have a different landing spot on land.
But bro, you've seen as much as I have. If it gets chalked, they'll land somewhere else. They don't care. They flipped the
Yep.
map that
That's what I'm
one
saying.
tournament and it didn't matter.
Yep.
So you're right. It doesn't matter.
I think teams will try, though.
Yeah,
And
team.
they'll
I
look
think teams will try.
embarrassing.
I think people try, but I don't think it'll work.
Now, I think the big question is match point. If they hit match point, will they land on them?
I think you'll
someone
see
has
4 or
to.
5 teams. I think you'll see 4 or 5 teams go pop off on match point. But I think it'll be
Well-
unfortunately too late. Because I'm telling you, they will probably land super, or they'll go land on
Yep.
like a different spot. Like Superstore, dude. I think Superstore's
They're going to
better
be
than pop off.
unpredictable probably once match
Yeah.
point happens.
Oh, look, I have a good conversation that I actually want. We talked about it a little bit, but I'll say my opinion. You guys let me know. Breadman made a post, and again, Breadman is probably one of my favorite humans ever. I love him, but I incredibly disagree with him completely on what he said. But he said he doesn't play scrims because they feel that there's in rough estimate, like he feels like it's not worth it because it will not play the way World Series is gonna play. And I saw that and I was like, wow, like I love Bread. That's my GOAT. I literally love him. But I'm going to be very honest. Like, there is no other practice. There is no, how do you expect? He's right. He's right. It will not play. Nobody's expecting it to play at all like the World Series. We're not saying that.
Yeah.
There's other things you can work on from playing scrims than in just going in blindly and expecting, oh, hey, it is what it is. It is what it is, bro. Like, in my opinion, you should never.
Yeah.
This
Oh, go ahead.
also kind of goes back to kind of what I was saying with last year. There wasn't as many reps, and they were able to show up, and they still placed 6th. I feel like if that's their experience, then that does make sense. Like, he's already been there, done that type of thing. But if they come in here and they place badly, then they would have to maybe go, you know what? We maybe we fucked up not practicing. But we won't know actually until LAN what was the right decision. They don't know the right decision, and technically we don't either, because it really comes down to how they place. If they place 3rd on LAN, then we look foolish saying, well, their strategy didn't work.
Right.
And then if they place
The only team.
40th,
Okay.
then it's like,
Yeah.
they fucked up, you know. So at least
The only
I
team
think
that benefits from not playing scrims is SSD. I'm actually surprised they're still playing scrims because I feel like they're only helping other teams. I've been saying that for a while. Obviously, it's good for viewership or whatever. But bro, if you are going into scrims and you don't think you can take anything away from that, you are foolish, bro. You're absolutely foolish. There's zone predictions. There's like team fights. You get to feel like for people's like just typical, like the way they play typically. There's just so many things in scrims that you can take away. Early fights and end games are pretty similar. Mid game, I agree, they're not the same. You could rotate freely for some things. You know, some things are just a little bit more lax. But at the end of the day, like, there's so much you could take away from scrims.
Yeah.
So many little things that, like, dude, it's just,
Like,
I mean, it's just dumb. It's dumb.
What JGOD said, I get it. But like, if we look at the level of competition last year to the level of competition this year and how much other people have prepped, like, sure, nobody really practiced and they placed 6th at last year's LAN. This year, bro, everybody's practicing. Everybody's getting better. People are, you know, like, and, you know, maybe they decide to play scrims from here on out. But you're right. I don't think Brett is wrong in the sense of they'll never play the way World Series is. Nothing is. But something, maybe 40, even 50% of how World Series is going to play is better than 0% and not getting any reps in. Like, that's the way I see it. I don't know. Yeah, go ahead.
also, to be clear, it's not like I agree with him. I just understand it from a devil's advocate perspective that, like, all right, obviously he's making the best decision for himself and the team,
Especially
for
from his point of
themselves.
view. Yeah.
Yes, so I can
And Joe's in
understand
this-
it.
Joe's
but if
in
it
the
was
same
me,
boat
I
as
would not.
Brett.
I would be trying to grind.
Right. Joe and Brett are in this boat, and Jace is in this boat. So I mean, I see. Like, if I'm Joe and Brett, they're probably like, "Fucking, I ain't playing scrims."
But you
their
could play
viewership,
at
you know what I
least
mean? Hit
one
the
a
green
week,
button.
at least one a week, at least.
no,
And like I said, if
totally
you show
get
up to
it. I get
LAN
it.
and
I
you
get
get
it.
slammed, now you got to hear about for the whole year. You sucked at LAN. You sucked at LAN. You sucked at LAN. Bro, they got cooked for EWC. They got cooked.
Like,
And they're going to say, oh, because it was Rebirth. Okay, you're putting a lot of pressure now on Big Map, World Series Warzone LAN. What happens if you show up and you don't do good there? Then what?
Like, okay, what I think what Ryda is saying, I understand it, but I completely disagree because I get it.
No,
Like,
that's what I'm saying. I'm
and
like
Brett,
devil's advocate, like
Yeah.
JGOD.
and like
Yeah.
Joe and
I
Brett
agree.
are making bank playing Resurgence and just win streaks and all that stuff. Like, guys, transparently, they go and play scrims and they lose money. Like,
Yes.
I'm just gonna be
Yeah.
honest with everybody,
Right.
right?
I agree.
But like, my opinion, that is the sacrifice that you make for wanting to be as good as possible in hopes that it's a short-term loss for a long-term gain. Because if they go out
Exactly.
and they play, right, and they do better at World Series, that's huge for them. That's huge, right? But I mean, why can't you get on, play scrims for 4 hours and then grind another 4 or 5 and get your content and still run the green button, run your money, get your money? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like 1 or 2
yeah.
months of the year. It's like you could commit some time to this, like a little bit. You know, we're not asking for you to, if you had to, you know, just play an extra 4 hours a day just to like kind of, or, you know, bro, you could play scrims once a week, honestly. But I don't even think they're doing that right now. I don't even think they're playing scrims once a week.
No,
I think they're playing the
One
total
day a week.
frenzies.
1 day a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the decision obviously is theirs to make, and hopefully they show up at LAN. That's
Yeah.
basically
Yeah,
all that
no, of
can
course.
happen. Yep. And then I think that they will in some form, but you never know. We don't have
I'm with you.
this track record to say, hey, you know what? They got top 5 every fucking scrim, so we expect them to do well. It's more like they're just a wild card. But to be fair, we have all these people that are playing all of them, and they're still fucking wild cards. So I don't know.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, we know that team's good. We know that team can
Yeah.
show up and be good. It's one of those things where it's like, I would just expect more people to want to get the reps in. I get
Yep.
it. I completely understand from a content creator's perspective. You are losing money. I understand, but short-term loss for a long-term gain, in my opinion. If you like, again, bro, imagine. I just want everybody to picture this. Imagine if you are the team to dethrone Falcons on LAN. Imagine how
crazy.
much credibility and how much of a flex and everything,
100%.
how that transfers over to all the other shit. Like, bro, if you do that,
Bro, seeing
Hey.
Alliance win in Apex at
Hey, Biffle
EWC,
might not retire. No, I'm just like,
bro, seeing Alliance take down Falcons at EWC for Apex was like insane because those guys got a lot of credit.
Yeah.
Credit. And I'm sure Shifty and them would tip, you know, they'd be like, hey, you guys beat us. Like they would give the credit. Like, dude, you would be the guy for the next year, bro. You would be the guy.
yeah, you can't tell them no, but you can't tell them nothing. You know? But yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. Look, again, chat, let's hope it's a month out. Let's see kind of what the play is, right? You know, what the play is. And I hope that more people want to play. Guys, just know we will hopefully, right, be there live in person again this year, watching it. Should be a fun fucking time. But yeah, man, I think LAN is quickly approaching. We have next week. We have beta all week, that weekend as well, weekend after that, and then 2 weeks after that, 3 weeks after that, no, 2 weeks after that, we have World Series of Warzone. So there's not a lot of time, man. There's not a lot of time, bro. So hey, I'm excited, man. I'm excited. Yes, we will be doing a ranking all the teams very soon. Maybe let's give it a little bit of time for them to show us how good they are.
Yeah,
Right? 'Cause I think
exactly.
right now it's like. Right now, I could give you guys a sheet and you guys could rank everybody and it would probably be right. You know?
Yeah.
Oh man, bro. So, boys, any kind of final thoughts before we wrap up, man?
I don't think so. I'm excited, man. We got a lot
tune
coming
in
up.
next week. No, I'm just like,
Guys, we will be doing another podcast this Wednesday on the patch notes for the midseason update, man. So we'll go live early as fuck. That will be a very early day, at least for me. A very early day for
be like 11
updates.
for you.
10:30.
Yeah,
10:30? Oh yeah, it'd be 8:30 for us, JGOD.
Yeah, bro.
something like that.
So the early chat, and then we'll kind of go over everything, man, and then hopefully scrims after
You said
that.
scrims Wednesday?
Yeah, scrims Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday. Friday, working on a tournament right now. Hopefully that goes through.
WTF tomorrow.
WTF tomorrow. We put out a schedule on Pullze Check Twitter, just in case if you want it. But boys, no final thoughts. We good to go?
think we're good.
All right, all right.
We're good, man.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much for tuning into the Pullze Check podcast. We'll catch you guys on the next one on more than likely Wednesday. We love you guys. We appreciate you guys. We'll see you later, baby. Peace, peace, peace.